Good afternoon, my friends. Welcome to this episode of Healing Your Codependency. I'm Marshall Bircher, and I'm your guide. If you're looking to stop fixing yourself, start loving yourself, and creating a life you enjoy, because that's how I end codependency. Today, I want to talk about, this is really impromptu, so it's going to kind of be all over the place a little bit, probably. So just a heads up there. But today, I want to target or touch on this topic of judgment and how it's trapping us, and give you a practice that I've been exploring with myself and with others, how to break free of the judgment trap. So before we get to that, I'm going to share this out real quick with the community. The community is your safe haven here on the internet, where you can find additional tools, guidance, and support. Now, when I say safe haven, that you need to determine if it's safe for you, honestly. I mean, you can read the rules and the way it's structured and see if that works for you. But you can apply for that, the community, by clicking on the link above on Facebook, below on YouTube, or at my front page at healyourcodependency.com or freetheself.com. Either of them will take you where you want to go. And come join us so you can get additional tools, guidance, and support in your healing of your codependency, so you experience more freedom and more joy. Okay, I've got that shared out. Let's jump in. So first of all, thank you guys for being here. Thank you for showing up in my world and for supporting me in my work. It means a lot, because sometimes it's really challenging to share the work and to do the work, and knowing that it's having the impact it's having on you guys, that's the intended impact of your own growth, your own well-being, is really, really beautiful for me. So thank you for that. So let's jump in here. So the trap of judgment. So do you find yourself putting down your efforts, ignoring the things you're trying, emphasizing the failures, emphasizing the things you're not? Do you find yourself comparing to others what you are and what you're not, what they are and what they're not, and then bringing that against yourself, turning that against your own value, your own worth, your own capability, the own possibility you have in your world? When you're doing your healing work, do you find yourself frustrated that that thing keeps showing up, that feeling, that pain, that the long-term desire you have for your world isn't happening right now? If so, that's the judgment trap, and in that is the fixing angle that we've been talking a fair bit about lately. But this judgment of where I am, what I'm feeling, what's going on is wrong, and I have to fix it. I have to change it in order to be lovable, to be worthy, to experience those things. These are tricky little traps that we get into because we live in a transactional experience, a transactional society and culture where we earn things and we give exchange for things. And so we've internalized that as, I earn my healing by doing this. I earn my joy by doing this. I earn my worth by doing this. I earn love by doing or not doing a thing. A deeper onus in this would be obedience, compliance, pleasing the authority, being a good boy, being a good girl, being a good person, things like that. These are ways we get really deeply trapped. And then when our pain comes up and it starts talking, we reject the pain. We're like, oh, I got to fix the pain, or oh, I've got to do something with this pain so it stops. Rather than coming to the pain and caring for it, just like we needed to be cared for when we were a child, just like we need to be cared for in that pain in that moment, being warmly received. See, it's this judgment that it's wrong or it should be different that leads into the fixing. It leads into the never-ending loop, the never-ending spiral of trying new things and doing new things and going around things. I mean, I've done that loop. I sometimes still do that loop. And so it's something I've been exploring a lot this week. Started last week, So it's new for me to take this angle I'm going to teach you here. But last night I had some pretty profound experiences with a friend of mine, and then this morning in a podcast interview with this tool. Because it's really a lot of times we're trying to get somewhere, we're trying to be something so that we can find some relief, find some love, find some connection, find some peace, find some joy, right? It's that chasing of the thing that we're doing. And it is the big trap. So I'm going to invite you to do a process with me today. And I would ask that you would let me know what your experience is in the comments, because I want to teach this if it works at a larger scale. It's working for me, it's working for some other individuals, but I want to teach this at a larger scale if I find that it works at a larger scale. Because I like efficacy, I like things to work. So the concept here is when judgment, I'm wrong, I'm bad, it shouldn't be this way. So we're going to go towards this angle of I love you anyway. Because most of the time, that's what's being held hostage, is love. Of being loved and being lovable. So here's how this practice works. So you sense into, you turn inward. Just make note of whatever might be showing up for you right now. Resentment, doubt, joy, peace, boredom, whatever is present with you. And then I do this inwardly and I do it in the mirror. I speak to it directly. And this is what I say. I love you anyway. And then whatever comes up in response to that, whether it's joy or judgment or doubt or peace or shame or whatever, I love you anyway. Let that land a bit. Consider giving yourself permission to let that go in a little more. To be impacted a little more, to be felt. And notice any responses that might show up with that. And I love you anyway to those responses. Sometimes we really fight against them. Sometimes we're like, I love you anyway. But what about this, Marshall? What about this thing that happened to me? What about the thing that didn't happen to me? And I love you anyway. But Marshall, the thing I didn't do in my past, or the thing I did do, and I love you anyway. We bring in that pain. I love you anyway. The things we've lost, I love you anyway. The things we've gained, I love you anyway. See, the practice's origin is built on the premise of indomitable worth, that it's immutable, invulnerable, and innate. So there's nothing to add to and nothing to change. Nothing can take away or add to our value. So whatever is going on, whatever is showing up, I love you anyway. Oh, I really hate this. I love you anyway. Because the anyway statement challenges all the conditions we might attach to being lovable or to have permission to be or feel love. Another way the statement can work, and I love you. Oh, but Marshall, I was just dumped. I was just rejected. I've never been loved. Yeah. And to that part, I love you. And I love you. Or I love you anyway. See, the work is to embody this as a space of I can care for whatever shows up with what I've always needed. Love. It's like, oh, but Marshall, I don't want to do this. And I love you anyway. Oh, Marshall, that's too easy. And I love you anyway. It all gets to be there. And listen to how it impacts what responses and sensations emerge for you in your body and in your experience. Because a lot of times our brain gets real chatty and it's like, but this condition and that thing and that over there and that. Yeah. And I love you anyway. I'm nervous about doing this and I love myself anyway. This could just be really weird for people and I love myself anyway. I love me anyway. See how that impacts and influences your anxiety, your shame, your fear, your guilt, your sense of inadequacy, your hope, your joy. You're up in the middle of the night because of insomnia and you're angry with it. You're tired of it. Yeah, and to those parts, I love you anyway. To your lived experience, and I love you anyway. And I want things to change, and I'm tired of being in this pain, and I love you anyway. I love the part anyway. The part of us that's feeling all that and expressing all that. I love you anyway. Or, and I love you. And I love you. It might sound really simplistic, a little weird, I don't know. And I love me anyway. Those judgments or fears of being judged come up with this stuff. And I love me anyway. That's what we're looking for, right? That's what we're trying to earn. That's what we're trying to get to. It's what we're trying to receive. At least for most of us, I'd suspect it is. It's been my experience. So play with it. Let's see what you discover as you lean into this. As you practice this. Let me know what it is in the comments below, whether on Facebook or YouTube. If you're listening via podcast, you can... how can you? You can submit like a contact request and put it in there if you want. But I'm very curious about that because it's had some pretty impactful changes for a few of us. I haven't tested it with many, but what I see is pretty exciting, and I want to help you guys discover that for yourself. So let me know, and we'll go based on that. That is today's episode. Thank you for being here. Go gently with yourselves. With whatever shows up, give it that warmth. I love you anyway. And let's see what you discover. Talk to you guys next week.